All right, back here with the review of today's futures trading. We'll call the prop trade alerts, the super signals, and we're going to try to do a review each day on this. Starting off, just taking a look at the big picture on the S&P 500. We opened up today right up against this trend line that goes out all the way back down to March lows, and we tagged it multiple times in the beginning of March, right before April came into play in mid-May. And we continue on here. You can see that mid-May, perfect touch of that. And then we came down to it, and we actually kind of held on to it for a point here, and then it dropped down and really sold off. And now we got back up to it, and that's where we gapped up to today. If we look at this as the hourly chart, but if you look at the daily, you'll see we had just a couple 3-day rally, and that 3-day rally opened us up right at the top of that downward trend line of the channel, and the rising trend line that we broke down to. X marks the spot. Tough area. Hourly was overbought, so the bias was to the downside. So I was very cautious on any longs today. Said we had to recommend. And I tried to stay to that rule most of the day. Any longs need to be sold off quickly into the rotation of the 9-3. Now the overnight markets before here, I always like to go back and just check it out. And again, we're going to see something that's going to, whenever we see market rallying, all right, and you'll start to see these pullbacks like this, sideways pullback, kind of a little channel. Typically, I'm looking for that divergence between that low and this low. If not, there might be a bull flag, or depends on what the 60-minute. In this case, it was almost a quad rotation here. And again, not that I'm going to be doing that at 5 in the morning, but back here there's another little pullback, and here you can actually see a slight divergence there. Now, on the HPS setups, and then this morning when we got 8:30, it was a perfect double top divergence. We pointed that out. And that, we have to remember that was a quad sell side quad divergence to the sell side. It was a perfect quad divergence, and it was the divergence was here on the 60-10. It wasn't even on the 9-3. That was a major 5-minute sell signal, and that was it. That's all she wrote. If you went short there, you probably qualified, but if you didn't, and you were looking for maybe possible bounces, we were identifying some things here. We were watching this level. Nothing really came of this until we got oversold here, and it wasn't much of a bounce, and and that was okay, because I think today we were just focused on taking, even if you got into anything like this, we made sure that you took it off on any move over the 80. That is your safety net. If you get a move and you think, all right, the market's going to bounce back up, when we get over above the 80, and this is holding under the 20, that's just that's a bearish setup, and you got to expect more downside, especially in the environment we've been trading in. So, just pay attention to that simple indicator to kind of keep you out of trouble. We had a little double bottom here at 10 o'clock, a higher rotation, and we got a little bounce on it. Got up to the VWAP, and it also came down to that trend line. That trend line was already intact here, from this point to this point to this point. And now we had it hitting our points and the VWAP. And it never got through there. So it did roll over. Again, this was kind of weak down here. So we did notice the weakness. It was still never really getting above that 50 level, really confirm an uptrend. Got sent down here again. We kind of measured this out. I don't think I took anything. It was 10:30. Once we got that pivot in place, we put the trend line down there. We got back up to this level. Pull back. I don't know what we're looking at here. Nothing much. Market was weak. 12 o'clock. We took a little lunch. And then we came back, and we were starting to look at this as a bear flag. This was a sell side divergence inside of a bear flag. And we came down quickly, and we put in this divergence here, this low and this low. This was probably our first good divergence of the day. There was a first good divergence of the day. This was really a good one. first of all, it was oversold, so you have a quad divergence. Again, this other one was a quad rotation that failed. Remember, this failed here. This actually was a quad. I was waiting for some timing to get a little pop, and it actually broke down. And that will happen on the, in that weakness. But it came right down and then bounced. So it was almost like it had one more spike in it down. And once it spiked down out of that, like it rotated up a little, and then just came down hard, and then it bounced pretty good. I mean, it was almost, it was almost they came and got you. But this was our first qualified divergence. A higher low, candlestick lower, oversold. I circled it. I said, this is our first qualifier. We took this trade, and as you can see, it moved up nice. Then we pulled back here, and this was key. This circle right here, this low and this lower low, didn't see it on the 9.3, didn't see it on the 14.3. Looked at it, and I said, oh my God, that's a 44 setup here. Remember when we said the 44 is like a super signal in itself? It's a very rare thing. It just seems to be the sweet spot in my alert. When I have a divergence, I'll take the 44 every single time. Now, I didn't see this actually till we looked. I was looking back, and I said, wait a second, why? Because I'm looking at the 9.3, 14.3. I was looking at those two, and I wasn't seeing anything. But I didn't even realize that the 44 turned back up. And then the bigger picture here, even down here, the 60-10 started to turn back up too. So that was really a setup that, like I said, I think the 44 band, stochastic band, that percentage D line, and it gives you a divergence. It is unstoppable. And I haven't found one that failed. So we'll keep an eye on that. Make sure if I do get one of those, that's going to go out on the super signal. It's going to say a 44 super signal. Go to work. Now, right at the close here, we actually had a little divergence, and I remember just catching a little divergence here. And there's a couple series of candle lows down here, and this was actually a nice spike higher, and we got a nice little run right into the close. And as you can see, the overnight, nothing going on. The market's opened up now, and we're just kind of just grinding here. Very slow action. So we can go back here. What do we see? 2 divergences. 2 were qualified. Couple sell side divergences. This is the one that broke down today. And that was it. I mean, for what that tells me, because sometimes that coil, a lot of times you'll get a pop out of that coil, but it'll come back and almost test you. So it's almost like you want to get that move out of the coil and a retest after the coil. But what it really tells me is the divergences are number 1 on the list. Even in this downward trend line or downward market, the trend that's been going down. Those are the divergences. But on the buy side and on the sell side have been working great. Let's not forget the sell side. So the lesson of the day, let's focus on these, especially tomorrow. We're going to have, we had 1, 2, and again 3, all pretty good moves. In some cases, you had a divergence here, we'll call it 98, and it went up to 7, maybe 7 points. You got a divergence back here we took. I think you got 96, 402 if you got the perfect shot on that. And this is where the market is right now. So no action after hours right now. But I think we're going to be focused in, laser shop on any type of divergences. Even if we have to take, I think you got to take bigger positions, but get out faster in this environment. But you're going to get something on the divergence. This was a real good one. All right, that's it for the update. Don't forget nothing. Don't forget to tune in each day.